जी सलाम नमस्ते सत श्री अकाल आदाब न्याली मदद मैं आपका होस्ट जलाल आपकी खिदमत हाजिर आप सब सुन रहे हैं जी सलाम नमस्ते कैलगरी ऑन रेडियो सुर संगम कैलगरी 94.7 FM. Yes, you can listen in your car or you can watch us live on Facebook right now on Radio Sur Sangam radio page. Yeah, so if you like, it is available. You can watch us live on Facebook as well, only on Radio Sur Sangam Facebook page. तो आज जी ट्यूसडे का 3 है 8:13 हुई है और अगेन आप सबको सलाम नमस्ते सत श्री अकाल आदाब न्याली मदद मेरी तरफ से एंड माय को-होस्ट सलमा जी भी अगर आप जो है फेसबुक पर हैं तो यू कैन सी हर. हेलो सलमा जी कैसी हैं आप?
हेलो जलाल, दे कैन ओनली सी हाफ ऑफ मी. ओके, आप सब मुझे जानते हैं, मैं आपकी जानी पहचानी शख्सियत हूँ. तो सब लोगों को सलाम नमस्ते आदाब सत श्री अकाल याली मदद, गुड इवनिंग, गुड मॉर्निंग, wherever you are, good afternoon. So this is how it is because we reach out to everybody in the whole world. So उम्मीद है कि आप लोग अच्छे होंगे और एक जो हफ्ता गुजरा आप लोगों के लिए बहुत अच्छा गुजरा होगा क्योंकि आजकल बहुत गर्मी हो रही है और सब लोग माउंटेन्स की तरफ जा रहे हैं लेकिन वहां पर भी स्मोक का बहुत प्रॉब्लम है. तो अपना ख्याल रखिए क्योंकि काफी लोगों को उससे एलर्जी होती है, अस्थमा होता है, तो अपना ख्याल जरूर रखिए. मे बी आप मास्क पहनिए बिकॉज मास्क आपको उससे भी प्रोटेक्ट करेगा. तो उम्मीद है कि आप अच्छे होंगे और आप जैसे कि देख रहे हैं और सुन रहे हैं हम सब लोगों को कि हमारे स्क्रीन पे आप एक बहुत ही खूबसूरत सी हसीन शख्सियत हमारे साथ बैठी हैं और आप उनको मेरे ख्याल से मास्क के साथ भी पहचान सकेंगे. तो हम आज उनसे मिल रहे हैं, वो हैं हमारी ज्योति गोंडेक एंड इनसे मिलकर आपको बहुत अच्छा लगेगा. इनसे ढेर सारी बातें करेंगे और इनके बारे में हम बहुत सारा कुछ मालूम करेंगे.
या बिफोर वी गो टू ज्योति बिकॉज जो हमारे जो अपना लिसनर्स और जो अपने फेसबुक वाले हैं आप हमको बताए चले कि ज्योति जो है शी इज रनिंग फॉर द मेयर ऑफ कैलगरी जो हमारे जो अभी है नहीं नैन्सी. तो वो नेक्स्ट टर्म वो नहीं जो है अपना इलेक्शन में होंगे. सो आफ्टर 3 टर्म जो कि 12 साल हो जाएंगे. तो नाउ विल हैव अ न्यू मेयर इंशाल्लाह लाइक इन अक्टूबर जब ये इलेक्शन होंगे सिविक इलेक्शन. तो ज्योति गोंडेक वन ऑफ द कैंडिडेट हु इज रनिंग फॉर द मेयर एंड इफ शी विंस शी इज गोइंग टू बी द फर्स्ट lady mayor of Calgary. Isn't it something? So Jyoti, welcome back. Yeah, welcome back to studio, I should say. Yeah?
That's right. Thank you very much. Ji sabnu badi pyar bhari Assalamu alaikum, namaste, sat shri akal, good evening. Hello everyone.
Hello. आपने उर्दू बोल के हमारा काम इजी कर दिया. So like there is like of course this is your first time on in our studio as well, on our show as well. So and of course everyone wants to know who's Jyoti. Let's start from there.
Well, let's start from there. I am right now your Ward 3 counselor at the City of Calgary. Ward 3 is North Central Calgary, so it's the communities of Coventry, Country, Harvest, and Panorama Hills.
Panorama?
Yeah.
That's right.
So
You are my... Okay,
I'm your counselor.
Yeah. Oh my God, I didn't know.
Yeah. Isn't it? Yeah, so that's what I do right now. Hidden Valley is also up there, Livingston.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and before that, I was working at the university at the Haskayne School of Business. I was running the Westman Center for Real Estate Studies, creating the BA and the MBA and BCom program there. And prior to that, I ran my own business for 12 years.
Wow.
And I also worked at Greyhound and Credit Union Central, so very busy professional life.
Yes.
So when you got involved into this being a counselor, so what made you think of it? And like I know your background, what studies you have done, but being a counselor, so how did that all started?
It's a really good question. In 2017, very early that year, late in 2016, I took a look at the things I had been doing in my life. And I realized that for 10 years, very accidentally, I had been doing city building.
Okay.
And so I had volunteered on a few municipal campaigns. I volunteered with my community association. I went back to university and got a PhD in urban sociology.
Wow.
And I was consulting with people who were building communities in the city. And when I thought about how many things I had done and the fact that I had been a volunteer planning commissioner with the City of Calgary, it seemed to me that instead of trying to influence from the outside, I would try to get a seat at the table. And that's why I ran in 2017. I had confidence in my experience and qualifications.
Right.
And I had a passion for serving the community. So I took a chance And the good people of Ward 3 believed in me and put me in this position, and it has been a pleasure to serve for 4 years.
So after you won the election, next day, well, okay, who cooked the lunch or who cooked the dinner? Yeah?
Oh my goodness, you know what? We ended up eating very late that night because the media calls start first thing in the
Yes.
morning.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
yeah.
And then you have to go down to City Hall and get introduced to some people. It was a whirlwind of a day. I don't even remember what we did about supper.
No, yeah, they were just kind of, just to have some fun. But, when you became a, chance or a counselor, did you have in your mind, let's say, if I win, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. I want to, I want to have, let's say panorama this way, or the commentary, I want here some changes. Did you have anything in mind?
Yeah, there was a few things that I really wanted to accomplish. So there's a recreation facility up there called Vivo. Yeah, and Vivo has needed an expansion since the day it opened. When it opened in 2004, it was full. It was at capacity.
It's full, yeah.
And we needed to find $22.5 million from the city in order to do the expansion. Both the federal and provincial government said, we will give you money, but the city has to.
Yeah.
So my job was to go and find this money.
Wow.
I was also going in to make sure that the north leg of the Green Line would get delivered.
Yeah,
That was a big fight. And, the basic improvements that need to get done in our communities, safe pedestrian crossings, safer roads, that sort of thing. I had a very clear mandate based on what the people of that community told me they needed.
Yeah. So how, in these last 3, I should say 3, 4, this is the 4th year. So what were the challenges you faced and what did you accomplish?
I would say one of the best things that I had done is served for 4 years on Planning Commission before I became a councillor.
Okay.
And I also volunteered on 3 or 4 other committees at the city. So I understood how the system works.
Okay.
And I had some relationships with administration and some councillors and the mayor. So that gave me the benefit of understanding what I was getting into. But it's still a lot to learn.
Yeah.
You have responsibility for ultimately a $2 billion operating budget, $2 billion capital budget. It's a very big job. And you have to know a lot of things. On any day, I have between 5 and 15 meetings that are on completely different topics.
Wow.
So you need to have a good capacity to learn and read, actually.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like in 4 years, because of the pandemic, a lot of things has been changed. It's a new world out there now. So then, as a counselor, what's your kind of a day look like every day?
Yeah.
Well, it became very interesting to go virtual.
Yes.
So
True.
we did not miss a minute. We, I think it was the 15th of March, was a Sunday. We declared the state of local emergency.
That's right.
And the next day, that Monday, we had a virtual council meeting.
Wow.
And so, there was a couple of people in chambers. Most of us were remote. And we started there and just kept going. All of our meetings immediately went remote.
Wow.
And it was very interesting trying to balance that.
Yes.
So,
yes.
So did you find a challenge by having virtual meetings?
Do you know-
how did it go then?
The biggest challenges with virtual meetings are finding a quiet place, right? I mean, some people have the benefit of having a dedicated office.
Right.
We have a dedicated office in our house, but remember, my husband was working out of there too. My kid was at home. My mom lives with me, right? So, I had to make sure I found a place so that the rest of them could live their lives too.
Right.
So I holed up in my bedroom. I have my virtual offices in there. And the way that people schedule meetings, it used to be you could take a little break and go and get something to eat, or you could, stop and go to the restroom, do whatever you needed to. Now everything is back to back to back. It's so busy.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, yeah. So, once you get, I just want to ask, going back again, once you're elected and everything, because, in our culture, they say, कि लड़कियों को जो घर पे बैठना चाहिए, उसकी यहाँ नहीं निकलनी, बाहर नहीं निकलनी. Even, back home, still there are so many things that are going. Even here, you hear some stories, the husband doesn't want wife to go out and work, but you are, as a counselor, on a mainstream, in our council. What was your family reaction after that?
I wouldn't have done this if my family wasn't supportive.
There we go.
So I remember my mom said, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਇੰਨੀ education ਲੈ ਲਈ ਤੇ ਇੰਨਾ ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਜੋਤੀ ਤੂੰ ਘਰੇ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਕੀ ਕਰਨਾ go and use this ਤੇ ਜੇ ਤੇਰੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਸ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਅੱਛੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਰ so when my mom says that I have to listen and my husband and my child both said to me this is where your heart is these are the things you love you should do them and so I had a lot of support it was actually quite nice
I think that's the most important thing that you have your family support and especially your mom who's telling you all these good things to go and do it when you can do it she saw the potential in you and when somebody and then those people who are so near to you they know the potential of the people around them and I think that was the most important thing the support and your mom's these things how she told you these things
and so, it was a very big sacrifice for mom because
it must
for about 11 years after my dad passed away in 2003 I worked from home so I had the ability to balance spending time with her taking her out taking her to appointments and just being her companion
that's right
and it's important मैं साथ देता मम्मी and so then when I had to make the decision to go back to the workforce outside of the home that was hard for both of us I worried about her a lot we got her an iPad so we could text and we adjusted
that's a good thing
adjusting on the go right yes so when I was talking to your communication manager like Joe Williams so then I asked her about her picture about your picture when she sent it to me I was like oh wow she looks like a Bollywood actress did you ever think to go towards Bollywood because you look so pretty in the picture
goodness you are my favorite people right now thank you
oh that's what we do for living
you're very good at this
no so so now of course we talk about the last 4 years what how everything started but now the main event is coming up in October big like a civic election and you are going for the mayor and I think there are about what is it about 13-14 of them are
there are 22 people running for mayor
people
for one seat of
for
mayor.
one seat
do you know them like as a
I know a few of them.
like as a friend anyone
there's 2 members of council that are running so I know them quite well there are other members of the community that are running that I have met before and there's just a lot of different people
so do you think that makes it a little bit harder because 22 people and then think of everything is being splitted so do you think that having so many people going for the one seat will make it harder for everybody like not only you because other people must be thinking the same thing
well I think what's interesting is that 22 people have the passion to be mayor of this city that's such a good sign for democracy I'm very happy with that I do think it makes it difficult for voters but I have to say it's easy to do research right now you can go online and look up each of us and you can look up your ward representative and I have to say school trustee sometimes we forget about that position that one is really important so you have the research at your fingertips plus you have the right and the opportunity to ask us if we will talk to you and so I've been doing a lot of Zoom meetings for 7 months we are doing backyard events now the best thing any candidate can do is get out and talk to people and understand what's on people's minds
So, when you started to, for your consulting, like 4 years ago, because you had something in mind, okay, you want to do this, you do, you want to do this. Now you are running for a mayor. So what things you don't like, you want to fix it, just in general?
I think one of the biggest things we need to do, and one of the biggest opportunities we have, is to create an identity for Calgary that is not tied to anyone else. For a very long time, we have been riding the successes of our province. And we have been, singing the praises of our oil and gas economy. So what I would like to do is now talk about the future and have a strong identity for this city as being progressive and a city that understands we are transitioning. In our economy. We did well in oil and gas when it was a carbon-based economy. It's not anymore. When we listen to global corporations talk about sustainability, I wish to send the message that Calgary is the center of excellence for the future for the transition economy to be more sustainable, to be cleaner energy, to be food security instead of just agriculture, to be food sustainability. There are so many opportunities to show our leadership here, but we have to talk about transition.
Such a good thing you said. Yeah, so, like, what do you think will be, like, you must be thinking, 22 people. So what you, in your heart, thinks will be the challenges for you as a lady coming,
It's, you know what, it's always interesting to think about what sets you apart from the pack. And, some things that people see as obstacles, I would choose them to see as opportunities. Sometimes people get it in their head that you need to clean house and you need to have all new people. But I think when you are going into a position of possibly having 9 or 10 new counselors, you need to have some people with institutional knowledge. You need some people with experience, and I bring that. You want somebody that understands how other cities do it well. And so I have spent time getting an education in that area. I have also worked in that field. I have volunteered in that capacity. So when you look at who's running and you think about who's bringing qualifications and experience and a desire to do this job, I believe I stand apart from everyone else, and that's the way I choose to look at it.
How you feel about it. And I think that's a great thing that you are feeling that way, because then that pushes you more when you have that, okay, I am what I am, so that is the most important thing,
So, last, like in a year and a half, like a film industry, it became big in Alberta now, because I think the like a province is giving a lot of kind of benefits, like they can bring their movies here, they get more kind of the tax benefit or tax break, whatever you want to say. So is it, let's say, we want to bring some IT companies, high-tech companies here, because we already have like oil and gas here. So I think we have the technology, we just have to probably just go on IT or like high-tech. So, like, as a mayor or as a city, can we give some tax break? Is it like, is it under your hand or no?
This is a really good question, because I think people sometimes don't understand the differences between what orders of governments can do. And I don't blame people. It is actually quite complicated. So as a civic government, we are basically in a parent-child relationship with the province. They create us. And so through the Municipal Government Act, we have a very limited set of powers. And we have an even more limited revenue stream. The only predictable revenue we have is property tax. So, when our grants get cut and other funding gets cut, we can only rely on property tax, and that's an issue for us. So we do need the provincial and federal governments to have the incentive programs that we're not responsible for. And, when it comes to the film industry and the creative sector, this government took away credits and then brought them back.
Exactly.
I'm happy they brought them back.
Because I heard in the news, $1 billion came into our city, or like into Alberta in last year and a half. $1 billion.
People forget how much potential we have in areas other than oil and gas. And you know what, to your point about the tech sector, I think sometimes we're trying so hard to attract technology companies that we forget every company, every business relies on technology. Technology is just, a basic instrument. So I think we need to look a little bit further than just saying the IT sector, and we need to look at how we have different types of organizations wishing to be here that share our vision of a transitional progressive economy.
That's right. So now small businesses, they are really upset about what is happening with them. So what do you think will be the future for them, like with this COVID, the way the COVID is going, like it's not going to go anywhere because we have to be careful about it. So what do you think about it?
I think small businesses have had such a struggle in the last 16 and 18 months. I've talked to a lot of people in different types of businesses, whether it's, dog care or, a brewery or a restaurant or, so many musicians and artists. And so many social service providers. And they've all said the same thing. It's been a roller coaster. Everything's open, then it's closed. Then it's open, then it's closed. They want some consistency and some predictability in how we go into recovery. So I think it's going to be tough right now with all of the restrictions being gone. Everyone has to just come up with their own plan.
Yeah.
And we're not going to be tracking anything.
Yes.
That's
is,
frightening.
Actually, I was coming to that, but
Yeah,
I'll do
it
it
is scary.
like a bit
That's-
later. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, no
Yeah.
doubt.
So I think small businesses are incredibly concerned. Schools are concerned.
Yes.
Schools,
The medical profession is concerned. So I think, for a local government, there's a limited number of things we can do. We have to take care of our employees.
Yes.
For example, transit drivers,
Yes.
frontline employees. So we will be looking at a mask mandate on transit, those types of things.
Okay.
The taxi industry has said to me, we feel unprotected if there's
Yeah.
not a
Of
mandate.
course.
That's right.
Rideshare companies,
Yeah.
there's so many businesses that rely on that little bit of safety through a
Yeah.
mask.
Yeah.
And if that's one of the measures we can implement, we have to talk about it.
have to, yes.
But it's not the solution.
Yeah.
The solution is to make sure that we understand where the cases are and that we push vaccinations as much as we can. And honestly, we need to have some sort of proof of vaccination so that those Calgarians, those good people that did the right thing,
Yes.
can be out in the public.
Can we? Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I think, and I believe in that too, that mask is very important. And there are some things which were removed, but they could have continued for some more time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that would have really made a difference. Yeah.
Exactly. It's collective
Definitely.
public
Yeah,
safety.
It
That's right.
definitely is.
Hello, thank you, Sonia, for watching. 𝗲𝗏𝗃𝗃, thank you as well. Zora, thank you. 𝗃𝗆𝗃𝗃, all the way from India. Thank you. 𝗥𝗱𝗶𝗀𝗃, thank you so much for watching. And so many other people as well. Thank you so much, everyone. अगर आप जो है comment करेंगे, then I can see your name, please. So do comment whatever you like. अगर गाने का बोलेंगी तो आपको ज्योति गोंडेक may be sing. I don't know. We'll
Oh my
find out.
goodness. Hi.
I'm just kidding. So, okay, before I ask the serious question, okay, do you like scooters, the one we have in downtown? Your personal opinion.
Yeah.
But I love them.
You love them?
I love them. I think it's easy to get from point A to point B, but I don't think people are being good riders
That's right.
in
Yeah,
some
that's the
cases.
That's
thing,
right.
yeah.
I think you have to be respectful of pedestrians
Yeah.
and share that space with people properly.
Yeah. Because I am like most of them, like in downtown or on traffic, because I work for one of the parking company. And so it's a pain. Sometimes when you're driving, they just come from left and right. They don't follow any sign. They don't follow any. Let's say they are riding in a group. If the first person goes through the red light, next 9 will go through the red light as well, because they're in a group. So I don't know, maybe, is there any way we can just trick them kind of just by the river? Just stay in the river, whatever you want to do, go ahead, but don't come in the main kind of downtown core like 4th Street and 5th Street. And today I was driving on a 5th Street by 7th Avenue. 2 lanes were blocked. 1 lane for traffic, and we have so many traffic, and 1 lane for bike.
Yeah.
So maybe we can move them kind of reverse it. I don't know. Like, do you have any plan in it? Because like a lot of people are talking now, like it's a pain right now.
Well, I think the issue with scooters is that they're a novelty right now.
Yeah.
And people are experiencing them for the first time and they're having fun.
Yes.
And they're using them for a lot of leisure activity. But there are people that use these scooters to get from one spot to another
they do.
in their regular day.
Yes,
to accomplish
yes.
all the things they need to.
Yeah.
Those are the people that, are doing this in a
Yeah.
responsible manner. It's like people who are cyclists. It's
Yeah.
the same thing. I think we need to get better at understanding that we're sharing these spaces. So I think probably some educational campaigns.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
They should,
Yeah.
they
And
should get it.
a little bit more observation of what's going
Yeah,
on
that's
and,
right.
whether it's enforcement
Yeah.
or whether it's just, having a presence to say this is
I
not
think
the right
that
way
will
to do
help
things.
if there are some rules and regulations for these scooters. So I think that will really make a difference.
I think so,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
And what about our traffic cameras? Is it under city or like it's province?
So you're talking
Red
about
light.
the red light cameras?
Yeah,
Okay.
everyone loves them.
Oh, yeah. So those are the purview of
Yeah.
Calgary Police Service,
Okay.
but there has been regulations put into place by the province. So it's a bit of a shared responsibility. The other issue is that when we collect fines for tickets that are issued, all kinds of tickets, the revenue goes up to the province and then gets sent back to us as a grant for the police service.
Okay.
What has happened under the current Minister of Justice is that our funding got cut. So
okay.
the fine revenue used to be a model that we would get part of the police budget paid for through that. They cut it. by several $1 million. So we had to make it up on our own.
Okay.
So it's not really equitable. The province gets to make a lot of decisions about where the funding goes, and your city has very little say in it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, like, Mayor 𝗫𝗫𝗫 and Jason Kenney, like, are they best friends or no?
They are professional colleagues.
Okay. I like your political answer.
That's very nice. So so what is the first thing you're going to do when you win?
On October 19th, I will be picking up the phone
Yeah.
and calling the other 14 winners,
Yeah,
congratulating them,
yeah.
asking them what they hope to accomplish, why they chose to do this job, and how can I work with them to help them achieve the results they need. That is the very first thing I hope to do the next day.
Beautiful, yeah. That's very
So if I ask you the same question, what do you want to answer?
That's the answer is the same. Like that is what I will do that day. And the other thing is to thank my team profusely for the amount of work that they've put in. The number of volunteers that are doing this, it's unpaid labor that helps me get elected.
Yes.
And I am so grateful that so many people have made the time in their day to help me out. So there will be many, many thank you calls happening that day.
That's so
true,
true. So
true,
true. So true. Yeah. Yeah, great. Yeah, so like, see, we have so many followers and they are so supportive that they are always there for us and they're commenting and they are listening and they are watching us. So we always, I feel so good that their support is always there and they are always with us. So that's why in between he checks it and to see who's there and say thanks to them. So that's it's been great, yeah.
So okay, so when you left, like of course during pandemic, I think I heard one of the time Mayor 𝗫𝗫𝗫, he said he has some friends in like 𝗏𝗏𝗏 as a scientist, and he takes kind of talk to them on a regular basis about this virus and everything.
Yeah.
So of course, I think you need your team kind of like behind the scene working scientists or anyone, any other professional like profession as well. So then, of course, then you make your own decision, okay, whatever you choose. So when you have your 14 members plus you, so who has authority, like kind of final say, let's say you want to have, you want to get something done, but you didn't get, let's say you get, you need 7 votes or 8 votes to be kind of, majority, but you didn't get it. But still you have a say at the final, at the end, okay, I want this.
So 2 things about that. Your first point about the University of Calgary team, we are incredibly fortunate in this city to have some very smart people who have pooled their resources and as experts have come together to talk about the pandemic and the way we can mitigate the impacts of it. They have been working hand in hand with our emergency management agency, Chief Sue Henry, and with the Office of the Mayor, and we get some very good advice and we get very good empirical evidence. But if that evidence starts to disappear, if we no longer have numbers, it's going to be really hard for us to make informed decisions. So that's a concern. And to your point about voting and majority vote, so we have what's called a weak mayor system.
Okay.
And that means that the mayor has 1 vote like everyone else.
Right.
But the mayor is also the one that has the ability to build the relationships and promote the ideas that really serve Calgarians the best. And he has the ability to bring us together to have discussions about how we can collaborate. So that's what he does, and that's what I intend to keep doing. Ultimately, it will be important in that role to run a tight meeting and to make sure that everyone understands the information before them. And once we vote, we vote. And once there is a side that wins that vote, all of us must adhere to that decision. It is not time to start complaining about I didn't win. It's time to go along with what that decision was.
Wow.
Interesting. And
It's okay, go ahead.
and there are, I think, there are actually few councillors who are not coming back.
Yes.
Any particular reason? We haven't talked to anyone yet. But what do you think? Why? Is it too hard, too tough? What is it?
Well, the Ward 10 councillor, Ray Jones, he left in September of last year.
Right, yeah.
And it was for personal reasons.
Personal reasons,
Yep. And, we've heard from Councillor 𝗏𝗏𝗏 in Ward 7 that, she's been there for quite some time and she's ready to step away. There's new blood needed. And so people make their decisions, based on their own personal reasons. I don't think anybody's leaving because it's too hard and they're too tired.
Yeah.
I think everyone makes a decision about when they are best able to serve and lead and when it's best for them to step away. I think there's some self-awareness.
Right.
Yeah.
I think which is a good thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
the very
If you-
good thing.
Yeah, if you can't serve, so might as well. Yeah.
And also depends on the circumstances, like
Yeah.
things may have changed in their life and then they find that it's not what they really want to continue with.
Yeah.
So that's the thing I think that makes it, and I think that's a very good thing to do.
It is a good
Yeah,
thing to
I
do.
think
And
really,
I have to say,
Yeah.
this is not an easy job.
No, not
There's-
at all.
No, not at all.
There's people that think it's a cushy job and we collect this salary and this
no.
this fat cat pension.
No.
We don't.
Yeah,
like most of us came from the private sector and, are making less here than we did there. And you're always on,
Yes.
always. And people are always critical. So
That's
it is a heavy job. It's a heavy responsibility. It's a busy job. And I think anyone that's willing to give, 4 years of their life to something, we should thank them. And I'm not saying this for myself. I'm saying this for anybody in elected office. We should be thankful that they gave their service and their time. Whether you agree with them or not, they did choose to do this job on behalf of the public. Do we always get great people? No.
No. Yeah.
Sometimes we don't.
Yeah.
But for the most part, people do this for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's encouraging to see so many candidates stand up and wish to do this. It means we have a good society.
Yeah, and especially pandemic, the way the things are going, you cannot make
become
happy
very
everyone.
hard.
No.
All the politicians are like on a hot seat right now, either here or there, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because whatever you do, like there are some people they will love you, or there are some people they will they'll come after you.
Yeah.
So then as a mayor, I think once you take over, hopefully in October. So I think there's still pandemic is still going on.
Yes.
And as you said, as a mayor, we can still have the mask on the transit and taxi, everything still going on. But do you think, of course, it's too early, the way our province is moving, and other province their health minister, they are making kind of faces right now to Alberta. Why are we doing this? So as a mayor, I think we're gonna have a talk with Jason Kenney right away. We need at least testing or something keep on doing. Otherwise,
I think so.
we can lose control. And the fourth wave, the way the things are looking, it's going to be here in October. And what I'm hearing on the news or like on radio talks, we might have a federal election in September because of the fourth wave might come here in October. So, what do you think?
What are your thoughts?
I have to say that there's many different ways to approach this. But if you think about how volatile and, up and down this has been for businesses.
Yes.
They're open, then they're closed. Sometimes they have some rules and sometimes they have different rules. This has been very hard on our economy to not have some stability and some certainty of what to expect. Then you look at our kids who are under 12. They can't get vaccinated.
Yeah.
And we have just said, if you test positive, you don't have to stay home.
Exactly.
That's
So I'm
the-
shocked.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
shocked.
something
Like
which
educators
unbelievable.
and parents are shocked
Yes.
at this idea. If your kids get lice, right?
Yeah.
Je juan ho jan school de vich,
Yeah.
they send you home.
Yeah. That's
But we're not going to send people home with COVID?
Yeah.
This is ridiculous. So
and that is lies is nothing. It's
Yeah. It's not life-threatening.
It's not like that. It's so life threatening. You know. So
I think there's going to have to be some very serious conversations because, masks are one step.
Yeah.
They are one step.
Yeah.
We're not saying masks are going to save your life.
Yes.
What we're saying is, as a local government, we don't have a lot of powers.
Yes.
And if the one ability we have allows you to protect somebody else, then we need to look at where we implement that mandate. So people sometimes think we're saying everybody must be masked and that's the solution. That's not what we're saying.
No.
We're just saying this one small step
Yeah.
is all we can do when everything else is gone.
Yeah. And I think it was Nancy said, he didn't know, Dr. Hinsha will announce this. He didn't have any idea.
We
at all.
had no idea.
Yeah.
Wow.
Most of the time when the province makes an announcement, we have no idea. When they announced open for summer,
Yeah.
we had no idea.
Oh my God.
The premier announced that Stampede was going to open.
Yeah.
That announcement did not come from Stampede. So we've got some communications issues that we
Yeah,
need to
do.
address.
Yeah.
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 You know, our boss here, 𝗏𝗔𝐶 Sidhu, he's like,
Yes.
you know, we have a problem too, communication problem. He doesn't answer my phone. I don't answer his phone either. But this is a serious issue. We are talking about the whole country here, like the whole province here.
Yeah.
So of course you guys need a better communication as a family. Then we get the result. Of course, then we can see that,
Yeah,
you know, what's
that's
going on.
right. That's why people are a little upset now. So there's such a difference, like anti-vaxxers and vaxxers. There's just so much going on, and they don't understand that how important it is to get vaccinations done. You know.
Now,
like,
I believe your husband
yeah,
is an infectious disease
Yeah.
specialist.
Yeah.
So you understand this.
yeah, completely.
And you and I had a conversation about masking up
Yeah.
to do this interview.
Definitely.
You and I believe in vaccinations
Yeah.
because people like your husband, who are the experts, I listen to them.
Yeah.
I trust their advice.
Definitely. And my husband is also kind of surprised that why did this happen, and like
No,
why
everyone's
so
surprised,
early?
you
We were
know.
it's so early to do that.
Yeah.
And thank God, like, we didn't have too many cases because of the
Stampede, yeah.
But that is a really good sign. But the thing is, they were taking some precautions. Yeah. So that is the thing. So if you take precautions, you save yourself and you save others.
Yeah.
So this is what it is. That's why you see us, both of us, in masks.
No, yeah. So I think there are some rallies are going on like every day, and they said they're going to continue until province change their mind, which I doubt it because he already announced it. So let's see what Dr. Hinsha says. I think it's going to be on her because what Kenny's saying. She got from Hinsha, okay, we can do this. So he said, okay, let's go for it. God knows
today-
what's the truth.
Today we heard something interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, what is that?
Today we heard that Dr. Hinshaw prepared these recommendations and delivered them to the Cabinet Committee.
Yeah.
And
they
the
have to
committee
approve it.
approved them.
Yeah.
They approved them in their entirety.
Yeah.
So it's the same as administration coming to us with advice,
Yeah.
and we approve it.
Yeah.
The decision's ours. It's a
Yeah.
political decision.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
right.
So I think it's very interesting to say this is on Dr. Hinshaw.
No.
That
It's-
you could
no.
have challenged.
True,
you
yeah.
could have
Yeah,
challenged.
you could have.
Yes,
You
yes.
could have. That's
Yeah, I think
definitely.
or like their committee or like a Corona committee, they would have said, okay, no, we don't want to open right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just wait for a month or two
Yeah.
until we have things. No, it's very scary right now, of course. So now it's about about 3 months left now. August, September, 2 months left now.
Yeah.
So what's your daily updates like?
That's
Are you
right.
going to kind of knocking door and everything?
Yeah.
Like how you guys how you going to do it?
There are multiple things that I'm doing in a day. There's a lot of opportunities to meet with Calgarians at different functions and different events, and we get so many requests for those.
Yeah.
And a lot of requests for interviews and meetings. The debate requests are starting to come in.
Yes.
Sometimes we put on little events. We had a floating down the Bow River event where we had a picnic for our volunteers before that in Bowness. So, we're busy. There's many different things that are going on. And the other thing that our team is trying to do is highlight for Calgarians what's going on in your city.
Yes.
We're coming out of a very long 16 months, and we can get out and explore what's happening in the city
Yeah.
and have a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
And so, just bringing awareness of how amazing this city is and the
Yes.
number of things you can do.
Yes.
So is there anything you're doing different than what others are doing to get the votes?
I would say that, my campaign launched on January 13th
Okay.
for a very good reason.
Uh-huh.
We know that it's hard in a municipal election to get your name out there.
Yeah.
Number one, people have no idea there's a municipal election coming.
Yes.
Number two, this is a big city.
Yes.
1.2 million people.
Yes.
There are 500,000 households. You can't possibly door knock everybody,
Yes.
right? And you have to fundraise in order to have materials to distribute to people.
Yeah.
Which is tomorrow.
What's that?
You have a fundraiser tomorrow. isn't
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, please mention that because I noticed that.
I will. I have a little fundraiser at the Calcutta Cricket Club tomorrow.
Okay.
So that's going to be nice.
Yeah.
But there's so many things that have to get done to raise your name and your profile, and so I knew that it was going to take quite some time. So we started early, and we ran hard at the beginning. We ran harder in the middle, and I'm going to run even harder in the end now.
So during Stampede, of course, you went around to the other events and everything. So what
I did not go to Stampede Park though.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Like Stampede lunch. or
I went to
breakfast.
to community events.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what are the feedback from city for last 16 months?
Oh, it's interesting. The most interesting thing was going to events and you would look at each other and try to recognize people because most of us still had our masks on.
That's right.
It was so exciting to see everyone, and no one knew, like, should you handshake? Should you do this? Should you fist bump?
Yeah.
And then there were some people that were just so excited to see you, they just like came swooping in for a hug. Everything felt very strange. And I think it took 2 or 3 weeks getting used to seeing people in public settings and feeling comfortable with that. And that's human nature. That's not fear. That's not anxiety. That is a natural response to not being able to see people in person for a very long time and then suddenly going out there. So I think the way that some people said, you know, if you're fearful or anxious, then you can stay home. No, it's a natural reaction. Let's not say stay home. Let's encourage people to do what they're most comfortable with. I think we have to be accepting that the pace of people going back out there is different for each person.
Definitely.
True.
Definitely.
Yes.
So true.
So, you know, there are two, like, I think the two more kind of the main thing for me to ask. One is a Calgary Flames Arena. It's been green light. I think you guys had a meeting last week. It's good to go now. And then the green line. I think you got already have from the federal and like province approved as well. Any other hurdles, or are we clear on those projects?
So on the Green Line project, I was very happy that the province announced their commitment and signed off on the business case the day that the Prime Minister came to the city to indicate their support as well. So that was very good to see. We should not have any more obstacles with that particular project unless members of council start monkeying around with it, and I hope they don't. With the event center, it did get moved forward. But there's some conditions in there that need to be met. One of the biggest ones is that the design needs to have public realm and public benefits. And that design is coming to the committee called Calgary Planning Commission, the one that I served on as a citizen. That design will come there in about November. So it's going to be incredibly important to make sure that the money we committed actually gets a result that we needed.
The one you need, of course.
So I'm a little bit worried about that one still because we ended up giving more money than I was happy giving. But let's see what they come back with.
I think they want to start. I think like early next year. Like
that's the goal. That's the goal. But they have to get permission first.
Permission first. So do you need flames in a city as a mayor? What do you want to?
You know what? When it comes to sport in a city. The role of sport in city building is more than just the team itself. And a lot of times people say things like, oh, the owners and the players have so much money. That's not what I want to talk about. The sense of place that a team creates is a very interesting thing, and you can't put a price tag on it. So I'm from Winnipeg originally, and I used to work for the Jets organization in their little store a long time ago, right when I was going to university. And we were so proud of that team, right? And you would see people come in wearing their jerseys, and it was a sense of excitement. You felt like you lived in a city that had a heart because that team did. And then when the Jets left, it was terrible. And then they came back. So, you know, can a city get by without a major team? Of course it can. But once you have one, and you have that sense of pride, it's hard to lose.
It's hard to lose, no doubt.
I totally agree.
Very well said. Very well said. Yes.
So now we have few minutes left. So what 3 things you would like to tell people about this elections coming up, and what messages you want to, 3 messages you want to give it to them?
Yeah, I think the most important message is that the city needs to have its own identity. We are a remarkable place where we already have so much diversity in our population. We have so much diversity in our businesses, and we need to keep sending that message to the world that we are inclusive and we are diverse, and equally important, we are progressive in how we think about our economy. So I think that's like message number 1. You know, the other thing is that it's going to be very important to understand that this election is not about one individual with one idea who will save the day. That will not happen.
No, true.
This is a long game. It will take us 10 years to come out of this. We have to be patient. And we have to take the right steps early on. The next 4 years will shape the foundation of our success.
So true.
And it's important for this council and this mayor to know that you will not be the one doing the ribbon cuttings and the grand openings. You will be the one doing the very heavy lifting and making the hard decisions that allow somebody in the future to be successful. So I think that's important. And the third message is, you have the ability as a voter to shape your city. You have the ability as a voter to understand how your values align with the people that you are going to put into seats of decision making. So do your research and choose carefully and choose well. And please vote. Don't think that your vote doesn't matter.
That is the most important thing.
Very important. You have to vote.
October 18th. October 18th. It is possibly the most important municipal election in a generation. And sab di vote ਇੰਨੀ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਹੈ ਸਭ ਨੂੰ ਵੋਟ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਓਪਰਚੁਨਿਟੀ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਵੋਟ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਪਲੀਜ਼ ਗੋ ਐਂਡ ਵੋਟ
Just a last question. I think Calgary was planning to have a 2026 Winter Olympics.
Yeah, we had a big debate about that.
Yeah. Were you on board were you on board for that or no?
We talked a lot about whether we should host the Olympics or if we shouldn't, and I think ultimately the problem was this. If there is an independent group going out and building the support, it always works better. When you have 3 orders of government publicly debating what they should be doing, deals fall apart. And that's what happened. We mismanaged it.
I think it was a great opportunity for us, even especially after the pandemic, would have been grown so much, and it was a great,
but you never know what's going to happen.
But you never know, of course, you never know. It's all in the air right now, but you don't know. Jyoti Gondek, thank you so much. It was wonderful to have you, and all the best to you. We want to have First Lady Mayor.
We are going to have.
And we will take a selfie with you before you become a mayor, then we won't have a chance.
You know what? I will always make time for both of you. I will always make time for your program. That is the one thing that I committed to doing. Because ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ representative ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਬੋਲੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇਨਫੋਰਮੇਸ਼ਨ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਸੁਣਦੀ ਹੈ ਉਰਦੂ ਸੁਣਦੀ ਹੈ ਹਿੰਦੀ ਸੁਣਦੀ ਹੈ ਰੇਡੀਓ ਤੇ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮਦਰ ਟੰਗ ਹੈਗੀ ਹੈ ਇੰਪੈਕਟ ਹੋਰ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਐਂਡ ਆਪਣੀ ਪਬਲਿਕ ਡਿਫਰੈਂਟ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਨਫੋਰਮ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਸੋ ਇਹ ਮੇਰਾ ਪ੍ਰੋਮਿਸ ਹੈਗਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ I will always make time for you.
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਚੱਕਦੇ ਫੱਟੇ ਜੀ
ਚੱਕ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਜੀ
Wow, no, it was great. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for the time. You were both wonderful.
We learned so much from you also, we learn every day we learn something, and it was so informative, and people, I hope, enjoyed it also. And the 3 messages you gave are beautiful. I think that is really important, what you said. And the most important is, please go out and vote.
October 18th. Make sure to vote.
That is the most important thing. Don't be lazy. Don't be a couch potato. Please, जाओ सब लोग वोट करो, क्योंकि आप लोग वोट करोगे तो आप देखोगे what difference it will make. वो बहुत जरूरी है कि आप सब लोग जाके वोट करो.
नाले जे तुसी आप दी वोट पाने थोनू कंप्लेन करन दा हक हो गया बिल्कुल सही बोला आपने.
But you can go to in Bollywood movies anytime. As I
said
earlier, that's your next, on the side.
In my advancing age, that's my backup plan.
जी समझ क्या बोलेंगे
जाते यही बोलेंगे कि जरूर आप हम लोग अभी हैं अगस्त सितंबर अभी तो है आप लोगों से हम लोगों को मिलवाते रहेंगे बातें करते रहेंगे लेकिन सबसे पहले इम्पोर्टेंट चीज है कि अपना ख्याल रखिए और वी डोंट नो अभी टेस्टिंग नहीं हो रही है लेकिन आप अगर अपना ख्याल रखेंगे मास्क पहनेंगे और सैनिटाइज करेंगे और हाथ धोएंगे जैसे ही आप घर पहुंचे वो आपको बहुत सेव करेगा और आप देखिए ये बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है आप लोगों के लिए तो ये मेरा मैसेज है और दूसरा ये कि डू आउटडोर थिंग्स नाउ इट्स सच अ गुड वेदर enjoy yourself and then we don't know next day what is going to happen so all the best to you and we will see you next week again and talk to you next week again और मैं इजाजत चाहूंगी शब बखैर और अल्लाह
तो चाहे province कुछ भी बोले guys but you have to do your part mask if you want to have if you want to wear mask you can wear mask by all means चाहे कोई पहने ना पहने but if you want to get it tested you can I think you can go to the hospital and get tested लेकिन if you're sick please stay home do your part isolate for 14 days. Hopefully something will change in next 2 weeks or so. But until then, if you're sick, please stay home. Don't go anywhere. And I think if you call your employer, they won't say anything either. तो मिलेंगे अगले हफ्ते इंशाल्लाह. And Jyoti Gondek, one more time, all the best to you.
So much.
Thank you very
Inshallah,
much.
we'll be in touch again.
Thank you.
Thank
for
you.
being
Next
with
day
us.
when you win it.
I'll call you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
मिले अगले हफ्ते अपना बहुत ज़्यादा ख्याल रखें. Thank you so much. खुदा हाफिज़, 𝗏𝗍𝗶𝗏𝗏 and या अली मदद.